Hello and
Hi,
welcome
Bonnie.
to my channel, Say Something with Maths. As you know, week after week, I invite young people from across the globe to come on my channel, share their views, their ideas, their passion. Especially, I'm so eager to know and hear what the Gen Z has to say. And this is a platform for them to come and have a open talk with me on any topic which is close to their heart. So today is a special day. Today is again somebody whom I've been following for a very long time to come on my channel. He is my first international guest. I have somebody called Tapavi, and his name is Tapavi Mashaya. He will introduce himself very soon. Welcome, Tapavi, to my channel. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Madhumita, and thanks for the kind introduction.
All right, we have yet to know you. He's 21-year-old. He's from Zimbabwe, Harare. He stays a few kilometers away from the capital, Harare. And it is so exciting that a country, I am from India, I stay in Dubai, and he is from Zimbabwe connecting with me. This is what this platform is all about. So let's not waste any more time and get to know him better. So, how excited are you, Tapavi, to be on my channel?
I'm so excited. Actually, I've been very thankful. I can say I've been very fortunate to meet you on LinkedIn,
Yes.
and I'm so grateful for technology, which makes it possible for us to connect. It just removes all the barriers.
Yeah. Tapavi, first of all, what does your name mean?
Yes, also in my local language, Tapua, I can say it's more of a combination of given plus blessed. So you would
Blessed.
find people with English names like blessing, given, blessed. It's
Okay.
more of a cocktail of those names.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know. How do you say hello? Mohoro? Moro? Hello?
Moro.
Yes, Moro.
Moro.
Hello?
Yes. Moro.
Yes.
That's good.
So, yeah. So, one thing first I want to ask you is take us through your family, who all are there, how many siblings you have, what are you doing right now, what is your future plan, where are you, what are you doing? I don't know much about you. So, let's start from there.
Sure, I'd love to. Firstly, I'm a firstborn in a family of five children.
Okay.
Fortunate enough to be the only boy among four girls.
Oh, okay.
I live with my mom and dad here in Eastview, and all the girls are younger than me. We have a 16-year-old, a 10-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Oh, you have a 2-year-old sister. Okay. Ah,
Yes.
okay. So, what about your education, your plans for the future? Oh, we met through coaching, right? We met through Shrikant on the platform. So, tell us about your journey from your school to
Yes.
college to where you are now.
I must say Shrikant is amazing, and
Yes.
I'm so thankful for what he does. So I finished my high school back in 2019, and my hopes are to be an economist. And also, I also want to do a lot of things. So I get to try many things in order to see what is professionally good for my soul. I'm trying technology, I try economics, I try business, I try agriculture. But basically, I'm enrolled in an online university uh, where I'll be studying towards a bachelor's degree in professional studies.
Okay. What
So
subject have you chosen? Which subject?
I chose economics, accounting, and business
Okay.
management.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So now I'm particular on what the international organizations governing the world are concerned about. For example, the World Health Organization, the United Nations. We learn of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. One of it says zero hunger. So when I learn of these things, I'm so concerned. And we also have the Food and Agriculture Organization. It is projected that by 2050, the population would have gone up to 1 billion, and the world would need to increase its capacity in order to sustain their needs for food. So I'm concerned about that, and my plan is to be able to contribute towards that as a citizen in this world. So that's why I try agriculture. I try agricultural economics and so
Wonderful.
on.
So this, yeah, since you are into agriculture, you are right on the ground to know the exact condition of what happens if the food supply is in shortage and the area is land available for agriculture is shrinking day by day and number of people are increasing. As you said, I'm so great to connect with somebody who is also into sustainable living and sustainability, and that was of course going to be my question, at how do you practice this in your country, in your household, in your how do you practice living sustainably, like in a country like where I am, there is huge amount of wastage of food, there is excess use of plastic, there is no end to countries which are still not getting how serious this is all about. But yes, there are concerns about going. Fuel is a very big thing which UAE is also doing a lot about sustainability, but a lot needs to be done. But yes, the process has started. What about in Zimbabwe? How are the people taking sustainability? Do they practice it? What is it?
Sure. So a lot of measures have been put in place to ensure that sustainability gets into practice. But I must say, Zimbabwe, the economy has not been performing very well. Actually, it's estimated to be one of the lowest countries in terms of performance and one of the highest in terms of inflation.
Yeah, I saw the inflation,
And
390%
so
inflation. It's so
I
huge.
think it's the highest now.
Yeah, I was just reading. It's so high. Okay. So people are struggling.
So, so, so now, in as much as policies are there, really the people on the ground are not having anything being done. If there be something being done, it's very, very little. But actually, the government is trying to ensure that the citizens can get to have some seeds and inputs in order to do their farming.
Okay.
There's a lot of open spaces around
Okay.
my house and many other houses that need to be utilized in order to
Okay.
at least to sustain families and so forth.
Oh, yeah. Hmm. So you get government support, you get seeds, your electricity, is it free for people who are doing agriculture? No.
So that's another story. Actually, the country itself as a whole is struggling with electricity.
How will they provide free?
So
Yeah. Hmm.
so perhaps the country goes for more than half of a week without electricity. Electricity may come only in the night.
So you plan to do economics and you are just 21 and you are already, I read your quote that grinding every day to best of your ability, day in, day out. And what does this mean? That quote on LinkedIn, I read you had written that grinding every single day, day in, day out, is the mantra of success. Like whatever you do. Am I right in reading what you wrote?
You are very right. Actually, there's an adage which says you become what you repeatedly do. It's a call to consistency to say if you want to do this, you need to practice it every day. There won't be any other secret apart from you practicing it, putting effort every day. You'd find that grinding is a process of turning a solid maybe into a half solid or into a liquid or so forth. So it actually processes something which is big into a smaller part. So now grinding with human beings is you processing something in order to what to provide value, in order to become better and grow.
Mm, mm. Do they have do they teach computer in your schools also?
Yes, but our technological levels are still very, very, very low. So it's only a few schools which have access to computers. So it depends on your access to computers. Personally, in my school, I didn't do any computers
Okay.
because we didn't have access to computers.
Okay. Now, tell me about. I was looking at your country's. If I have to visit Zimbabwe, what are the things? Like they said, there are five UNESCO heritage sites in Zimbabwe. Wow, in one country, there are five UNESCO heritage sites. And there's a Victoria Fall, which is the biggest fall, which is again in your country. And there's so many fascinating things about the wildlife, about nature. It's one of the most beautiful country. Do share about this. Do you have many tourists coming and in your country, and what do they do? What are the things they must do when they come to your country?
Actually, I must say the Victoria Falls is one of the seven wonders of the world. So apparently, I believe it generates more in terms of foreign currency through
Yes.
tourism. And so, but we do have many other places where tourists come. We have what we call the Nyangani Mountain. We have Tarazi Falls. It's said actually to be the deepest fall in Zimbabwe. We have the Kariba Dam. And Zimbabwe basically is a really easy country to travel to because since the economy is still a developing one, there are not many barriers to entry.
Ah, yes.
So that makes it easier for many tourists. I actually have seen friends who came wanting to visit Victoria Falls. They just came. It was
Okay.
just normal for them, and they just
Okay.
went into a lodge, waited for a day, and went to Victoria Falls. And we also have what we call the Great Zimbabwe, the Great Zimbabwe, from which we derive the country's name.
Yeah.
So
The
it's a
Zambezi
certain
River, the
ruin.
river, Zambezi River.
Yes, in Zambezi River too. So the Great Zimbabwe is so amazing. It's actually we have this tower which is built by bricks, but those bricks were not having cement and it never falls.
Oh,
So it's really amazing.
wow. I would love to visit. And how people like you speak very good English. Your English is quite clear. So is it conversation in English is most common? People understand English and they can reply, or is language a barrier to talk?
Most Zimbabweans are literate. English is our official language,
Okay.
but
I read, yeah, I read
then
there are
it
many
depends
many
on where you stay.
yeah.
It depends on where you stay. Mostly children outside the city, they struggle with English.
Okay. Mm. But you do speak very fluent English and very clear. So it's good that youth all needs to have this access to English speaking, at least if it's a tourist friendly country. So I'm sure by after talking to you, I'm very inclined that I will visit Zimbabwe in coming years, definitely. Now, Tapiwa, coming to you, if I want to know you better, what is your biggest strength and what is your one weakness?
My biggest strength is consistency. Recently, I've been learning that I need to be predictable to say if someone is to be asked what Tapio would be doing, they would know Tapio will be doing this and this. He'll be following through what he has said as his goals and so on. So now it's becoming more of a strength to say I want to be consistent. I want to be doing and finishing whatever I start for myself.
Oh. Uh, Also, who would you say is your inspiration? Do you follow any person, maybe in your family, maybe in world, any leader, anybody, any whom you think you follow his work and you idolize his work and he's a role model for you?
I have a lot.
Is
I
Kailash
really,
Satyarthi one of them?
I really have a lot of models. One of them is called Willard Marriott. He's the father to Richard Marriott, and they are the owners of Marriott International Hotels. I believe it's there in India as well.
Oh yes, we have. So can you name that person? I would write it down, write his name. What is his name?
Richard Marriott and Willard Marriott.
Richard Marriott. Okay. You
Yeah,
follow
so
him?
one is the
You
father
have
of
read, you read
Richard.
up, yeah, you follow him?
Yes, I do follow him. And actually, what amazes me most is that he also has been consistent. And each time he would be asked about why he was or he is successful, he would invariably respond to say the reasons are being born right, developing good habits, and marrying the right person. That makes a successful person. If it's out of balance, then you wouldn't have attained whatever you would have done. And I really love that we are born right each and every time. We don't have to regret that we were born in rich, affluent, or poor circumstance. The idea is to change. It's, of course, developing good habits. We are beings. We need to grow and become better. And
Absolutely.
lastly, bearing rights.
Absolutely. Uh,
We're also created to give chances to others for them to come to earth. So we need to marry the right persons that we can relate well to.
You are at 21, you are so, your thoughts are so mature and fluid, and you are well read. So I'm so glad you are on my channel to talk such deep thoughts and conversations. Do you have any book you think that this is the Bible, I want to read it, or I've read something which you can recommend to our audience who are listening? That some one book which has impressed you, maybe one or two you have read.
Great, phenomenal. Actually, the book that I love the most, I'm still currently on it. I don't read very much. I'm not fast-paced in reading, but the book is called Grit, The Power of Perseverance and Passion. It was written by Angela Duckworth.
Another question I wanted to ask you is, tell me about some Zimbabwean cuisines, food. What kind of food you people eat, and what is a when you have festival? What is the most famous thing I should have when I come to Zimbabwe? And how do you celebrate? What kind of festivals you have?
Yeah, so I must say the world is evolving, and some of these traditional festivals are being neglected. Some people are leaving it, but we do have actually some festivals which people celebrate. For example, in Zimbabwe, we have certain times that uh, the moon is bright in the night very much, and people would spend some time doing some traditional dance. I think traditional dance is one of the popular ones that people do. So in the night, people would spend it dancing and playing drums and so forth.
Okay, so do this is very amazing. Whenever we go somewhere, we see traditional dances. Do you also, you young people, dance a lot?
Yes, young people dance a lot. I must say, for me, I'm not very flexible. I think my body is a little rigid, so
But
I'm
it's
not best
natural,
at it.
no, for
But
everybody to dance with the music, with the drum. You people have such beautiful rhythm. The drums and the music is very infectious. You start, your body starts dancing on your own. Okay, tell me about the food.
yes, our main food is maize. So
Maize, maize.
we do plant a lot of maize. Therefore, most of our foods contain maize.
Okay.
We make what we call sadza.
Uh,
Sadza
spe-
is more of a hard porridge, which is which is made using maize. So
okay.
we eat sadza with
Salsa.
vegetables, with meat, with beans, and so forth. And there are also alternatives to sadza, which are made using
Okay.
rapoko or sorghum.
Rapoko. Salsa.
Yes.
Okay. So you eat a lot of meat or a lot of vegetables? What kind of meat? You have chicken or you have what kind of meat? You have more fish? Of course, there is, yeah, you have a river. Do you eat a lot of fish or meat?
Actually, meat is very scarce in Zimbabwe, and it's
Oh,
very expensive.
oh,
So mostly people eat vegetables, and once in a while, perhaps once in a week, people would eat meat and so forth. We do have a lot of fish, but it's only for different parts of Zimbabwe, like where the rivers are.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
recently, we had a situation whereby the main river which produces fish, like the water levels are now low. So
Okay,
that necessarily means that necessitated the drop in the fish levels as well.
okay. Um, if I have to ask you this question, like if you have to write, I know if you're very young, you have a long way to go, but if you have to write a book on yourself, what would be the title of that book?
There are a lot of topics that inspire me, but one thing that I would write about, maybe I would title it "The Story of an African Mother." Not on my mom. Actually, it's about all the ladies in Africa. You
Ladies,
discover
ladies.
that
Okay, okay. I
most most of the African countries they are not developed, and and people are struggling. So a lot of
struggling.
mothers, you'd find that in Zimbabwe, a lot of mothers they live in the rural areas. They work in the farm. They work on makeshift tables, selling goods and doing all sort of menial work in order to send their children to
Children,
school.
yeah, to schools. Yeah, it happens. It's
You
true.
see, and in order to give them food and so forth. So it's a lot, it's very hard for them, and most of them are single mothers. Most of them do not afford good schools and many other things. So like the growth of many African children is wrought because of the
Malnutrition.
sacrifice of mothers.
And water is available, good water, or you have to go somewhere to fetch water, fresh water, drinking water.
Yes, actually, we do have distances that we travel. And again, I must say, a lot of mothers out there in the rural areas, they travel as far as 10 kilometers to fetch a bucket of water and so forth. There are many other areas that are really hot, that the water levels are very down. But fortunately, in our, like close to the city where I stay, the water levels are a little okay. So we do have a well close by where we fetch water.
Okay, so there is no tap water, you fetch it from the well and you use it, store it and use it. This is the most beautiful title I have ever heard. Like at this, the story of an African mother. It's an ode. It's a gratitude towards all the women who are working so hard. It's such a beautiful title. I'll always wait for this, Tapiwa, when you grow up and write this book. And do remember that this is the first time you shared the title with me, and I hope that you end up writing this book definitely. So. We have had a very good conversation. Um, I would like to ask you one more question, which is again very close to your heart, and I know you we started with all that question. What is that one problem which you see is the topmost problem according to you globally?
So one is drugs, especially in these developing countries. You would see that high poverty levels are juxtaposed with high drug intake levels, especially with the youth. So I believe it's one problem which causes a lot of trouble in the world because now we say youths are the commonwealth of the entire globe, according to Kailash, I think,
Satyarthi, yes.
from India. So now, if we continue having such a problem, that means we are precluding the commonwealth of the whole world to from growing and actually leading the world, which they are supposed to be leading out of necessity and out of all the things that they would have done and invested in themselves. So most of the lives are being cut short because of drugs. Yes, a lot of youths are into drugs. And at times, it's not only the expensive drugs. When we discuss this topic, many tend to think that it's the expensive drugs which affect the youth. But here we have like very, very cheap, very,
Very
very
cheap.
cheap. Probably we talk of a common one in Zimbabwe. They just take a bulb which is no longer used, they break it. It has some chemicals, some powder which is inside it, and they take those powders. So it's something cheap and
Okay.
something which harms
What did you
the
say? What did it
living
break? What break? They break what? What is it? Bow?
a light bulb.
Bulb. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Really? Okay. All right. This is so much to discover and so much to talk. This interview can go on and on. But we have, is there anything which you want to ask me? You want to know about anything which you have? It's your chance to ask any question to me if you want. Otherwise, we'll move on and we'll end this conversation with a song. Do you sing?
I don't. I thought you were going to ask me my favorite country or a country that I would travel
Oh yeah.
to.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, which country would you travel? Yes, correct. Which is your favorite country?
Actually, that was the most difficult question that you asked because I have a lot again, a lot of countries that I wish to travel to. But I try to categorize it in terms of the length of or the significance of what I want to do in those countries. And temporarily, my heart wishes to go to Qatar to see at least one live match of my favorite team, which is Argentina. I'm hoping
Oh,
that it
oh,
will reach the final.
You wanted to go to Qatar World Cup? How nice.
Ah,
I
that's temporal. But many other countries, I would love to go for bigger things. Firstly, I would love to go to Netherlands. That one is
Netherlands. Okay,
significant.
Netherlands. Yes, yes,
Netherlands is because they are good with agriculture.
yes.
It's a place where we could actually learn of things that we can replicate in Zimbabwe. I would
Okay.
also love to travel to the US, to Canada, and so forth, just for education.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, anything else you want to ask and you want to talk? I missed out. Anything which you think you want to say to today's youth? I know we started with that quote. Do you want to end with something, a quote or a line which has inspired you and which the listeners, because predominantly it will be young listeners. So what do you want to tell them?
That's good. My message is very simple. The youths are the commonwealth of the entire globe. Uh, we are destined to lead, and we must be given more opportunities to actually manifest what we are capable of doing. And I believe we must also participate in what bigger organizations are trying to help us to do. We talk of the 17 goals. That can become a really good blueprint, if you will, for all other youths to say, I want to follow this, I want to follow this, I want to contribute to this, to the world because of this, and I can do this towards the betterment of other people. I think it's a better way to go if we are to benefit the next person who is not able to do it for himself. It makes the world a better place for each and every person.
Beautiful, beautiful. Because the sustainability goals are the blueprint to future, and each of us, if we can, contribute in some way. And this is, I think, what I can do from my end is bring people like you on my channel, and maybe use this on social media to give your message. Maybe somebody is listening, somebody is listening to this, and you never know. We got connected, and this way the you get connected to people, and then a different world may open up. So it's all about building connections, building relationships with people from across the globe to know them better. So I'm so happy to talk to you, Tapavi, and it was great to talk to you. And I hope we keep in touch, and I know more about your work in future. And anytime you need anything from my end, please reach out to me. Thank you so much. So, viewers, so let's wait for another week for another guest. Please subscribe to my channel, Say Something with Mads, and encourage by commenting on these beautiful interviews with young people. So, see you again next week. Bye bye.